13 years ago, it was my freshman year of college, 2006, and I was attending my first meeting of the Association of Black Harvard Women. I was so excited to meet fellow Black women classmates for the first time. We went around in a circle introducing ourselves. The first woman to go happened to have a Nigerian name. She said, "Hi, my name's Adora Iskunanane. It means a child who is one of the community, who is given to all and whom all must look after." Then the second girl went. She said, "Hi, my name is Saran Alazar. It means a sacred flower, one found in the Bible that is especially sacred." Then it was my turn. I said, "Hi, my name's Mercedes Bent. It means, well, it's kind of just like the car." That moment seeded a curiosity in me about African names. I was so interested in the beauty of the names. 12 years later, I would find myself leading a trip to Ghana and Nigeria with Stanford and Harvard classmates, where we were going to explore our heritage and our roots. I had started calling the trip my Black Birthright. When I think back on what inspired me to plan such a trip, I think back to that day, my freshman year of college, and to two other times. The second time was also in college when I first learned about the Jewish birthright, or Taglit Birthright Israel trip. My friends in college told me about this all-expenses-paid trip where they got to go visit Israel, learn about their heritage, connect to their people, and get really indoctrinated in what it meant to be Jewish. I was like, that's so cool. Why don't we have that? The third incident that inspired the trip was a few years later when I was in the working world. It was 2016, and I was sitting at my desk one day when my phone and computer started blowing up with notifications. I clicked on a link, and what I saw next horrified me. There was a video streaming on Facebook Live of a man who had just been shot. His fiancée, or girlfriend, was sitting next to him in the side seat, was filming the aftermath. Her 4-year-old daughter was in the back seat. He had just been shot after being pulled over by the police at a routine traffic stop and had been shot about 7 times in 40 seconds. My mind started racing. I started thinking, why did someone shoot into the car so quickly right after a routine traffic stop? Why would someone shoot into the car where there was a little girl in the back seat? What if it had been my dad or brother in the front seat? What if I had been the little girl in the back? His name was Philando Castile. That was an incident that jolted me very deeply. The rest of the day at work, I tried to focus on getting things done and being a productive member of the team, but unfortunately, my teammates didn't get anything from me the rest of the day. I couldn't focus. Later that week, I called my friend and I said, we've got to do something. We've got to help Black people. We looked into how we could support economic empowerment initiatives or how we could support Black Lives Matter. We donated and rallied, but nothing quite stuck. We were still yearning to do more. It would take another 2 years before I found a solution that did stick, and it ended up being my trip to Ghana and Nigeria. I didn't realize it at the time that it would become a solution, but it did end up being one in a way. The trip itself was full of new and exciting adventures. We went to concerts where we danced all night to Afro beats. I learned how to cook jollof rice, a dish that is a staple of African diets and has inspired intense rivalry. I got my hair braided. We discussed Nigerian politics and history. And I even got a new name. So I participated in a traditional Nigerian naming ceremony where they gave me a name. Esosa Adowa Oloke. Esosa means God's gift. Adowa means born on a Monday. And Oloke is the family name. They said to me, you will always have a family here in Nigeria. Welcome to the family. For the first time in my life, I felt a surge of gratitude and appreciation as I realized I finally felt connected to the people of the African continent, to my people. Over the course of the trip, I realized that my mind was really being put at ease, that the recurring racial soundtrack caused by microaggressions in the United States was starting to lessen, that I was healing mentally, that I was healing through heritage. Over the course of the trip, I also thought about, well, what if I lived here in Ghana or Nigeria? I wouldn't be subjected to as many racially charged microaggressions, and I wouldn't have to wonder if I was hired for my token or for my potential. Research shows that the development of an ethnic and racial identity can have really positive benefits for minoritized youth and young adults. These positive benefits can include higher self-esteem, greater confidence, and even higher academic achievement in school. Research has also shown that interventions rooted in indigenous traditions have had the effect of decreasing substance abuse and attempts at suicide. So what I'm talking about here, the developing an ethnic and racial identity and connecting to your heritage, is not just a matter of having higher self-esteem or having greater confidence, although those could be great benefits. It could be a matter of life or death. I strongly believe that anybody, any displaced person who has been displaced, whether due to fleeing for a new country or simply immigrating for a better life, can benefit from planning their own birthright trip and finding some of the healing that I did. So where do I go from here? As I said, thought about, if I lived in the Ghana or Nigeria, some of the healing benefits I would get. But if I lived there, I want to get to live here in the United States, where we have the greatest melting pot experiment going on that the world's ever seen. Call me an optimist, but I still share Martin Luther King's dream that one day we won't be judged by the color of our skin. I'm committed to helping more young adults, more youth of minoritized backgrounds go on trips such as the one as I did. I've gotten involved with an organization called Birthright Africa, and I'm hoping that together we can help them raise money to send more people on these trips. I hope that in sharing my story today with you guys, my short story of the healing that I went through, that you're either inspired to go find your own birthright or support those of us on this journey. Thank you.